Hello and welcome to New Earth Lifestyles. We're here to breathe in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm JaneE King. A lovely winter day in Manchester, trying to snow, but not deciding not to snow, but trying to snow and deciding not to snow. It's a slushy, wet, wintry mix out there. So drive safe and be careful. And I have my trusty bowl with me today, and I am your guest on my show today, Simply Me. And today is December 11th, 2014. December 11th is an anniversary for me that I'm going to talk about later in the show. December 11th, 1992. And I do like to celebrate anniversaries, or at least commemorate them or remember them in some way. All anniversaries are special dates in my life, and so I invite you to look at your special dates in your life, things that you want to celebrate. And of course, the biggest date is your birthday, the day that you came out of your mother. The mother that took care of you, hopefully, for the majority of your young years. And I'm going to go on to mothers. Because if it weren't for mothers, none of us would be here, would we? And the sacred feminine is the power that is swirling and emerging from the sacred masculine as we move into this new time, which is sort of what New Earth Lifestyles is about. The Earth is shifting. The Earth has a 26,000-year rotation around the sun as it's continually spinning. There's a 1,000-year, I'm sorry, that was a little faux pas. A 26,000-year rotation. The Earth is the solar system. Is it the solar? I think it's the whole solar system travels around the sun. Is it the solar system or the Earth? I forget. But anyway, this 26,000-year cycle that has to do with Earth energies and where we are around the sun and in relationship to the rest of the cosmos. And so everything is always shifting and changing, and I know we do like to have stability and, static sometimes, things staying one place. However, that's not always possible. In fact, it's very seldom possible. It is not possible because everything is always moving. And from that perspective, really celebrating those special days or dates, those special occasions in your life, really acknowledge you, acknowledge me. So my birthday, which I spoke about in September, my birthday was in September, and we're coming up onto so-called Christmas, even though my understanding is that Jesus Christ was not actually born on December 25th. I believe that history shows that he was born in April. However, we celebrate the birth of Jesus on December 25th, and I hope that I don't get blasted out for that little faux pas, but we do celebrate December 25th as the birth of Jesus Christ, the birth of Christianity as we know it today, 2,000 years later. And so as we are moving up on that, I will be speaking a little bit about that today as well, and about gift giving and some thoughts and some ideas for you, some of the ideas that I've taken on in my life of how I like to give gifts. So, welcome to the show. Welcome to Manchester, New Hampshire with me today, Thursday, December 11th, 2014. And thank you to Manchester TV for this beautiful, beautiful station, or studio rather, and thank you to John Eric O'Neill, who takes care of all the technical aspects of the show. And I'm very grateful to John for all he does and the abilities that he has to set up the sound, the background, the music, the cameras, and the lights, and all the technical stuff, because I can't do that. So let's get right into it today, shall we? Purchasing Christmas gifts. That was one of the big things, because today's, how many days before Christmas? Let's see, 25 minus 11, 14 days until Christmas. And so we have 14 more days to purchase our Christmas presents if you are in that mode of purchasing Christmas presents for loved ones or friends or acquaintances. And so some of my ideas I've brought with me here today, and books are always on the top of my list because I feel like giving the gift of knowledge, which is what books are. And one of the books that I have purchased for a gift is this book right here, which is, there we go, which is Love Thyself by Masaru Emoto. This book cost me $1. What? Yes, this book cost me $1. I bought 10 of these. I'm going to give them to 10 different people for $1. And it was free shipping. I got it from a place called Hay House. So this is a great book which talks about loving thyself, which is one of the biggest subjects that I talk about on this show. Masaru Emoto is the one that did the experiments on water. So it's a lot of colorful pictures of crystalline water and what they mean and how you can love yourself. So this is a great book. It's really a really good-sized book. It's strong. And it's a great Christmas gift. So there's one idea. First idea is giving books. This book was very inexpensive at $1. The next one is meditations. So I have these meditations for breaking the habit of being yourself. Oh my gosh. Breaking the habit of being yourself. How can you do a thing like that? Well, why do you want to even break a habit of being yourself? Well, we can talk about that one later. So meditation CDs, that's another nice gift that gives and gives and gives throughout the year. This is also another meditation, pardon me, it's called You Are the Placebo. You Are the Placebo. And so if you were to go to Hay House right now, you can get all these really cheap, or inexpensive, I should say, because they're not cheap, they're very valuable, but they're very inexpensive Christmas gifts, and it's free shipping, and they got to me in 3 days, so you still have time. You can go to hayhouse.com, or there's an 800 number. I think there's an 800 directory. You can call directory assistance to get Hay House's number, but it's 800-654-5126 if you wanted to order from them, or any place else online. So the reason that I like to give these types of gifts is, as I said earlier, they give and give and give, and then you can pass them along to someone else to receive the invaluable knowledge about self-help and self-growth. And for me, loving thyself is where I want to get to, because it feels to me like that has been my life journey. And I feel like those people that are actually searching for what they call enlightenment or awakening or some higher thing, the basis of all that is to love yourself, to care for yourself, love thyself. And so that's, if you've been watching my show for very long, you kind of know that that's a theme that streams through my show all the time. This show is about loving yourself, even though it's called New Earth Lifestyles. It's your lifestyle about how you take care of you, how you can become a better person or a happier person or a healthier person, how you can live your life in such a way that you enjoy your life. And all those around you feel that, and then they pick it up, or they melt, or they go away if they don't like you feeling good about yourself and feeling good. If people are with you that don't want to be happy and healthy, they usually go away. They usually leave for some reason, because some people can't handle being happy and healthy. But for me, that's my goal in life. I'm going to gong to that. Happy, healthy, free life. That's what we can have. We live in this country. Why not? Why not focus on what you want? Freedom, health, and happiness. And not that it has anything to do with the medical model in this country. It has to do with you, or it has to do, for me, it has to do with me, my psychology, my heart, my intention. How I want to live my life is in my control, no matter what. And so I like to give gifts to people that help them if they want to, and if they don't want to, they can pass it on to someone else that might like one of these CD sets or a book about loving yourself. How do you do that? And basically, loving yourself, the first step is to become aware of you. Become aware of yourself. I become aware of me. So when I say have a behavior that makes me feel bad, I really study that about myself, and I really slow my life down. I breathe. Oh my gone. I breathe. And that will slow my life down and help me to learn from my mistakes. And my mistakes are only mistakes that I make that I decide are my mistakes. And by slowing myself down and breathing, it gives me an opportunity to realize that I can make a different choice. I can go in a different direction and look at what I might have done, what I might have said, how I might have acted, that I can change the next time. Only I can change that. Only I can change that. You know, people can punish you. You know, when you're a kid, you get punished for doing the wrong thing, which I really don't agree with. I don't have any kids, so that's okay. But why punish a kid for doing something wrong when they didn't realize? Many cases, lots of cases, they don't. For me, when I was a kid, I didn't realize what I was doing was wrong. Lots of times, I don't feel like I intentionally, did things that were a mistake. However, I was punished for doing things wrong, and so. What did that punishment do for me? It kind of helped me to bury myself deeper inside of myself. It helped me to grow my fear of the unknown and not knowing how to live my life. But anyway, breathing and relaxing and looking at the holiday coming up as a great opportunity not only to give the gift of something material, but also giving the gift of, what if you were to give the gift of, pardon me, of a smile? Of a smile. What if you were to walk down Main Street and simply gently stroll, not necessarily walk, but stroll or meander down a main street in your area and smile at people and just give yourself away, or give your heart your intention of care, if you find a genuine intention of care, and allow that to glow from you. And maybe get in touch with what this holiday means for you, or get in touch with how you're feeling, if hopefully you're feeling happy about this holiday. Some people don't feel happy about Christmas, but what if you were to give an intangible, let's say, gift this holiday season? A smile, or a hello, or some gesture that may be new for you, that is absolutely a gift as well. Or what if you're taking care of yourself, loving yourself, love thyself? What if that can then express out into the world and be a gift to the world? What if you were to allow your essence to ooze out of you and be given to the world? What would that look like for you? How could that happen? So these are just some suggestions for ways that you can give this holiday season. And so we just got through with the grateful Thanksgiving season, and now we're moving into the giving. So giving thanks and now giving gifts. It's kind of this season of November, December that we have in this country and in the Western world, and that's a good thing. It's kind of a good thing to have that, especially as we move into the darkest day of the year, which is winter solstice, December 20th or 21st or 22nd, somewhere around in there. I don't know exactly the time of winter solstice this year. It kind of shifts for some reason based on, I don't know, based on what? Based on the cosmos and where the Earth is. But if you were to think about that, Thanksgiving moving into giving, into Christmas, and being the darkest part of the year of daylight. So the sun on winter solstice, there's the least amount of sun of the whole year. It's the shortest daylight day of the year and the longest night of the year. So it's funny that this is the time of the year that we can kind of go within and check out how we feel, and well up within us some giving, hopefully some giving, caring emotions or expressions to give out to others in some small way. And if this type of gift of these CDs or books or information or knowledge are not something that you care to give, as I said, just giving something like a smile. And maybe you don't even want to give this year. Maybe, I know some people are having a rough time in their life right now in December. probably a lot more than I know. And for those of you that are having a rough time this year, maybe the gift this year is to give to you, is to spend time with yourself and heal whatever's going on in your life that is difficult, that doesn't make that makes you not want to even be involved with this season of giving. Maybe that's would be the best thing for you, is to go inside yourself and take some time to really take care of yourself, and not asking why or what's up, but just what do you need? What do I need to be happy in this moment, one moment at a time? What do I need? Maybe it's something simple as a good meal. Maybe it's something as simple as a new winter hat or new winter gloves. Maybe there's a way that can happen for you. Another thing that I like to think about, and this show has another thread that follows through the show throughout the year, is the fact that we can manifest. We are manifestors or creators of our own reality, of our own lives. And some people get upset hearing that, but really we are our own creator, and what we think helps us to feel what we feel, and what we feel then becomes who we are. And so as you become aware of what you're thinking and change those thoughts, especially if you're in a place of deep depression this time of year, lots of people that happens to. People get very down this time of year because, well, the light's going away. The light of daylight. Excuse me, I'm going to have a little swig of water. A little. As the daylight decreases, that can help or bring people into the cave, so to speak. You know, coming into the cave time of year, when the darkness is here, and you want to just be quiet and cuddle up under the blankets, or just read a good book and just be quiet and do nothing. And that's okay. That's okay too, if that's what's coming up for you. But the main thing that I like to pay attention to is my thoughts. And I know that I do get in places sometimes where I get into this place of dwelling on my negative thoughts, and it's only I can change those. So only you can change those. So find a way to change if you're in that mode of going deep into a downward spiral at this time of year, which some people do, then just take a deep breath. And smile. Even if you're not feeling up to smiling, as I've said in the past, we have over 300 muscles in our face that help us to smile. And when we use those muscles, it triggers a cascade of endorphins, which are happy chemicals, into our bloodstream, and help our chemistry then to shift so that it can lift us up to a better place. So for those of you out there that are going down this time of year as far as your mood and your thought process and what's going on in your life, just smiling. So even if you walk down the street and smile at someone, that can make you really up. It can bring you up. Amazing, easy way to do it. Just walk down the street, or don't even walk down the street. Look in the mirror and smile. And it's amazing what that can do. So that's a small thing that you can do if you're not feeling up to the holidays. This was my mother's favorite time of the year, Christmas. My mother shopped for Christmas all year round. Well, she had 7 children. There's 7 of us. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and I make 7. And my mother's favorite time of the year was Christmas. And wherever she went in her travels throughout the year, she was always thinking about us. And also she had 18 grandchildren, so I have 18 nieces and nephews. And she was always thinking about either the 7 of us and our spouses, or she was always thinking about her grandchildren. Wherever she went throughout the year, she was always checking things out. Oh, that would be good for this person, or that would be nice for that person. And I have to say that every gift my mother gave me, or my parents, because it was from my parents, even though I know my mother did most of the shopping, and my father just kind of went along with that. For some reason, that's the way it was. I know that all the gifts that I've received from my family were very thought out, very well thought out, and wanted to be something that I would cherish. And so now sometimes I see those things in my life. I say, oh, Mom gave this to me, or Dad gave this to me, or I got this for Christmas, or it was a birthday present. And it's still lasting me because she would take the time to really buy gifts that, for some reason, were lasting gifts. Even a sweater that I have, it's an all-wool sweater. I don't know if it was a Woolrich sweater or LL Bean or, something like that. She gave me these nice sweaters that I still have that are still in great shape. And so I think about my mother this time of year. She left us in March of 2004. She passed over, but I feel her presence even now as I'm talking about her. I feel her presence because not only did she love to buy gifts for Christmas, but she loved to decorate. She really, and one of our pet peeves with my mother at Christmas was the perfect Christmas tree. She had to go out and she'd go from place to place and she'd look at every Christmas tree and all these places that had trees for sale. And I remember going with her, and after a while, after a few years, when I got older, I just said, I can't go with you, Mom, because it used to be that whoever was selling the trees, they'd pull the tree out and she'd walk around it and make sure it was the perfectly shaped balsam fir or whatever it's supposed to be. And if she couldn't find a perfect tree in this particular lot, she'd go to the next lot and keep on looking. But I have to say her trees were very beautiful, and she always loved to decorate. And there was a tradition when we were all little kids that we all had that tradition of having one day when we bought the tree to put up the tree together and put on Christmas carols on the stereo back when we had vinyl, long playing albums. We put on Burl Ives or I forget some of the other people, some Christmas carols, and we decorate the tree together. And sometimes I was happy about it, and sometimes I was pouting because that's what kids do. They're either in a good mood or not. And we'd all decorate the tree together. And back in the 50s, which is when I was a little girl, we had these Christmas lights. They were called bubble lights. And if you can remember bubble lights, we're going to gong to them. Give me a call. Call me right now, and we can talk about Christmas bubble lights. But these were lights. They were shaped like an eyedropper, but they were plastic, and they were electric, and they had fluid inside, and there was a color. I think they all had collars too, or I think they had collars. My memories are not going along with me here. But we would string them just like regular strings, but we would hook them. They had little clips on them. You'd clip them on the tree. You have a whole bunch of them on the tree, and when they got hot from the electricity, they would bubble, so that the eyedropper thing would stick up, and inside would be fluid, and that would be bubbling all the time, kind of like boiling water. But this bubble would keep on bubbling up, and those are the lights of the tree, and they're probably pretty dangerous at the time, but I love those bubble lights. And so this is a good time of year to reminisce, which is what I'm doing in this moment, about the days of old, the way Christmas used to be when I was a kid. And my parents would decorate all the well, maybe I shouldn't say that one on the air about Santa Claus, so maybe I'll just pass on that in case the children ever watch the show. I don't know if children watch the show, but we'll kind of leave that, what I was just going to say, out about Santa Claus. So, Christmas is for children. Christmas is for children, aren't you feeling young? Who was that? That was Arthur Godfrey. Oh my gosh. I'm dating myself again. Arthur Godfrey. And that's another one of the Christmas albums that we had. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all those. Those are all the good oldies but goodies. And because I now, in this life right here now, I do not listen to Christmas carols, and I do not have a television, so I don't watch television, and I don't listen to the radio much, public radio a little bit. So I'm not really in that mode right now of hearing Christmas carols day after day over and over and over and over. So that's a good thing, because I can't do that anymore. So right now in this moment, it's bringing up all the oldies that I used to remember, oldie Christmas carols from the 1950s and 60s and 70s, the good old days. And so it's helping me to remember that when I grew up, we initially didn't have a television, and I remember my mother was furious when my dad came home with a television set, black and white, big console television set, because I don't think she didn't want us to have a television. And so I grew up in an era where television was just coming into being. But before my time, it was all just radio. And looking at communication and all the acceleration of communication just in my lifetime, and my dad just passed away a couple years ago too, and looking at my parents' lifetime and the communication, my father grew up with horse and buggy. My father, they were born in the 20s, 1922 and 1923. My parents were born, my mother and father, and they, yes, they did have automobiles then, but they had like Model Ts, and that's what they grew up with. My father actually was, his family was the poorest family in the town. He grew up, the town of Whitman, Massachusetts, and he used to, the bread man used to come from Brockton, fresh baked bread at like early 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd drive his horse and buggy with the bread wagon past my dad's house and knock on the door. My dad would jump out of bed and go with this guy so he can drive his horses down and help the guy deliver his bread to the town of Whitman, which was next door to Brockton. And so that's when we had mail. We had mail back then, and when my father grew up, he was the last family in the town of Whitman to have a telephone. That was the old telephones where you plug in. You call the operator, and you tell the operator who you want to talk with, and that operator would then take the plug and plug you into the number on the keyboard plug wall. So we've come a long way, baby, haven't we? A long way to this cell phones and satellites and computers. I mean, that was just in the period from 1920s. That was in less than 100 years. That was in like 80 years, or 60 to 80 years. Communication just went off the wall. We have it right here at our fingertips every second, and that to me is totally amazing. And someone was doing a talk about that and how it accelerated so fast in such that small time. When we look at before the 1900s, thousands of years, how long it took to get mail, just have written letters sent to each other. That was the mode of communication for long, long time. And then all of a sudden, bingo, wow, we're faxing things, we're emailing things, we're texting things, we're tweeting. This is crazy. It's not crazy to those of you who have only grown up with that, but for me, growing up in the 50s and 60s and 70s, it's like science fiction coming true. It's like James Bond is really happening. We thought all that was fiction. James Bond's contraptions, he'd pull things out of his shoe and have a cell phone. And back when he first started, James Bond first came out, we thought that was science fiction. And here we are. We're living it. We're living it today. So have a gong to communication, acceleration to this point where we are. And where's it going to go? I can't even imagine. I know someone can imagine because it's going wherever it's going. But those of us, I know when I was a kid, and my parents and grandparents were around, they would always say about their day, talk about their day and how things were in their days. And here I am saying the same thing about my day, which that's how life goes, though, isn't it? We're all going to grow up or get old. I don't know about growing up. We're all going to age, move up, and have a lot of history behind us. So if you are young right now and watching this program, cherish and live fully those days that you have, because it goes by very fast. And in the blink of an eye, you'll be, 60, 70, 80, and, moving on to the next lifetime and wondering what did you do with what you had, those are the past 60, 40, 50 years behind you. So, and this time of year, giving at Christmas, the giving, to me, giving really nourishes my soul and nourishes my being and helps me to stay kind of young. It helps me to enjoy and be happy. So consider what that's like for you. How does giving play a role in your Christmas holiday, or in this season right now that we're in, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, there's Hanukkah, there's other holidays that are happening this time of the year. That, what's that like for you? What are your traditions? And so I've kind of become a Scrooge because I don't have any children and I'm single, and I don't do Christmas trees anymore. I did break down, though, this year, and I bought a wreath, which is great because I happen to be in the farm store, and the fragrance of the wreaths, the fragrance of Christmas is in the Christmas tree, isn't it? And so I walked by the wreaths, and oh my gosh, this aroma, I've got to have a little bit of that. So I bought just where I live in New London, the Spring Ledge Farm, and it was just a single little balsam wreath. It wasn't this big thing with all kinds of big stuff on it. It was very simply done for $10, and I put it up on my apartment, and that lovely fragrance is wafting through my apartment. So it smells like Christmas, and that's all I need. That's all I need. A little bit of red and green. So let's go on to the fragrances of Christmas. What are the fragrances of Christmas to you? What conjures up inside of you what fragrances conjure up the spirit of Christmas for you? And maybe that's a way of helping you to enjoy the season in a different way if you're not enjoying it yet. Maybe just go out and go to a farm store and smell a Christmas tree wreath, or buy a couple sprigs of it, or pick up a couple sprigs of it. Some places will give it to you, a couple cut off limbs of a Christmas tree. And the fragrances of Christmas, the other fragrances, of course, are the baking of Christmas. My mother always used to make these, what she called cookie Christmas trees. And they're made out of sugar cookies. And she had this pattern. I think she got it out of a Better Homes and Gardens magazine, because she subscribed to Parents Magazine and Better Homes and Gardens and Betty Crocker. And so she had these molds. A cookie Christmas tree was made out of star cookies. So they were a big one, a smaller one, a smaller one, a smaller one. I don't know how many there were, like 7, I think. So the model was a star. I think there were 5 or 6 pointed stars. And so she'd make the cookie batter, like sugar cookie batter, and then she'd have this star mold, and she'd cut out the mold, and she'd make a hole in the middle. And she made, like I said, a big one for the bottom of the tree, and they'd graduate to get smaller and smaller and smaller until the top of the tree was very small. And there was 7 graduated sizes of these stars. So she'd get the cookie batter, she'd cut the stars out, and then she'd bake them. When she took them out of the oven, she'd sprinkle them with sugar. And then she'd take gumdrops, and each of the tips of the stars, she'd put a green gumdrop. She might use green sugar as well. She might put some food coloring in the sugar, made green sugar. And then you take a custard cup, and you put some paraffin. You melt some paraffin wax in there with a knitting needle sticking out of it. So you take a knitting needle, you put it in a custard cup, and then you anchor it in there with melted paraffin wax, let it dry, let it harden, and you've got your spine of your Christmas tree, and you've got a hole in each of your Christmas tree cookies. So you take each cookie, graduated from the largest to the smallest, graduate the largest one first, and she'd slide them onto the knitting needle. Now in between, she had a space in between each of those cookies, and so in between would be these round gumdrop type of candies that would be spacers. So she'd space in between each of the cookies so they had space between them. And that was a cookie Christmas tree. I believe my sister still has those original models, those stars of my mother's, and she might still have the bottom thing of the custard cup and the knitting needle, but it's very simple to make, and it's a lot of fun. And the kids, of course, like to eat them, pardon me, because it's just sugar cookies, making a Christmas tree. And of course, then you can become, pardon me, you can become creative with it and have different colors or different sizes. You can really have fun with it. So cooking, fragrances, sugar, those are some other fragrances of Christmas. And let's see, what other fragrances are there at Christmas time? Let's have a gong to the cookie Christmas tree. Hi, Mom. Cookie Christmas tree. What are some of the other fragrances of Christmas? I can't really think of any right now. So if you can think of one, call me. Call me and let me know. There is a call-in time right now, 413-0223. Call me if you have any other fragrances of Christmas that you would like to make us aware of or share with us. This would be fun. Fun sharing Christmas memories of smells, fragrances, things that you remember about Christmas from Christmases past. I was talking with some friends yesterday about the movies of Christmas time, and It's a Wonderful Life. I've never seen that movie. Can you imagine? Everyone in the world. No, I was talking with some women yesterday, and there was another person with me that had never seen A Wonderful Life either. I've never watched. Our family, for some reason, that wasn't a movie that we wanted to see. So my mother never showed A Wonderful Life on Christmas at Christmas time. So if you have a favorite movie that you used to watch Christmas time every Christmas, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that was one of them, the animated show. I know one of the big, of course, back when I was growing up, we had the variety shows on TV. And Andy Williams, he was one of my favorites. I had to watch Andy Williams' Christmas special every Christmas because I loved Andy Williams' voice, and he was a very handsome man to watch, and he always had special people on his show. So back in the 60s and 70s, we always had variety shows, which were musicals for an hour that would show at Christmas time, and it was always fun. I'm not sure what's out there right now because, as I say, I don't watch television, I don't own a TV any longer, and I don't listen to a lot of radio. So I'm not up with the times. Oh my gosh. I'm not keeping up with everyone. I'm just doing my own thing here. And that's okay because I'm enjoying my life the way it is. And I don't feel that everyone has to keep up with the times because what are the times? The times are whatever you make of them and whatever you are making you happy in your life. Right. But Christmas is for children, and Christmas can be a fun time. I'm going to have another sip of water. I recycle my blue bottles of Saratoga water. I think I mentioned that last time I was on the show by myself. Blue is a color that actually energizes water. So if you keep your water in a blue bottle, especially glass, you don't want to keep your water in plastic because plastic leaches the plastic leaches into the water, and it's I forget the name of the chemical, but it's this big long chemical name actually gets into your water if you're using plastic. There are certain plastics that if you look at the bottom recycling number, there's certain numbers on the recycling number. I don't know if it's a 2 or a 7. There's certain plastics that don't leach the plastic into the water. So anyway, getting off on a little tangent about water. And my anniversary, I wanted to talk about that today. My anniversary of December 11th, which is today, 1992, was a big, big change in my life. Big change in my life. It was the day that I stepped through the doors of the psychology office where I got into counseling. And I know people don't like to talk about that lots of times. I think it's private and nobody should talk about counseling or psychology or psychotherapy, but you know what? It changed my life. And so I am an advocate of psychotherapy because in 1992, December 11th, I first walked into a psychologist's office, and lo and behold, the person that I was introduced to became my psychologist for many years and helped me to change my life tremendously. In fact, I would not be sitting here today were it not for her. And I give thanks to the universe and to my angels and to God, Goddess, every unseen, available entity that was involved in directing me to this person because it saved my life. It has helped me to really get to where I am today and realize there's more to life than what I was living in 1992 when I was an accountant. I was going to work and coming home and very, very unhappy. I was in the rat race of life of thinking I needed to have a home. I needed to be having things. I needed to have a job that paid so much that gave me things. I needed to have a job that had benefits. I don't have a job now that has benefits, and I'm self-employed now, and I'm loving it. I have the benefit, I have my life. I don't have something in the back of my shoulders pushing me and gnawing at me of you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. I am free. I am self-employed. I don't have benefits like a job benefit. The benefit is I make my own time. I create my life the way I want it, and that is a beautiful thing. So in 1992, on December 11th, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of me actually actualizing my life. Actualizing the fact that I can survive and live happy the way I am in this moment, but by doing what I love to do, by making drums, by doing healings, by helping people, by facilitating workshops, by being here on this TV show with you. I love doing this. I'm not making money doing this, but I now have the wherewithal to have the time to make my own schedule. I work more on weekends than I do during the week now because that's when I make my drums. I do drum building workshops, and most of the people have those days off, although yesterday I did have a drum building workshop on a Wednesday in Townsend, Mass, at Illuminations of Gaia, and it's just really, really amazing to me that I went from this place of having to have an 8 to 5 job, and I had to have insurance, I had to have a 401k, I had to have a certain kind of salary so that I could drive a certain kind of car so that I could pay my mortgage. I don't have a mortgage. I think buying a house is way, way, way overrated. Way overrated because it's not an asset. They say a house is your biggest asset. A house is your biggest liability. A house is a headache unless you are able to flip houses so that at some point down the road you own your house outright. Then your house is an asset. Until that point, your house is a liability. Your house is something you're paying for. It's something you owe on. It's a ball and chain for some people, and it was for me. And well, I can't really say it was for me because I really enjoyed having a home. But it got to that after 12 years of owning a home, I guess it became a ball and chain because my husband and I built our own house. We started from a piece of land. We designed it, we built it, we subcontracted out, and did a lot of the work ourselves. But it still had leaks. It still had stuff going on with it. A brand new house. What? You build a brand new house thinking, wow, everything's gonna be great for a long time. No, not necessarily. That was my experience anyway. So, December 11th, very big day for me. What is your big day? What's happened in your life that has changed your life? Look at just kind of be curious about when did you meet your wife or your husband, or when did you do this or do that you can see that it turned a corner for you. It changed your life in a way that you're really grateful for. And I don't mean celebrating something that you're not grateful for. I don't mean celebrating something that went bad for you. I don't want to celebrate those things. Why? Because that's not the vibration I want in my life. I want to be up. I want to be happy. I want to have an open heart. I want joy in my life. And the only way I can do that is by living from that place of a higher vibration, of higher joy, and acknowledging these things that happened to me in my life that I am grateful for, that I'm glad happened, that I'm very happy happened, like my birth. I wouldn't be here without my birth. So that's a big day in my life. And on some level, I rebirthed myself on December 11, 1992, or I became rebirthed. And very, very fortunate, as I said, that I was introduced to this person that we melded right away. We got along right away. I could see when I met, I'm going to call her Judith, that when I met her for the first time, I was such a scared little introvert. I was like, oh, I was going to see a psychologist, but she was right there for me. She was taking notes, and she was asking the right questions, and she just wanted to know all about me, to have a good basis and background and foundation to help me with my self-esteem. And that's why I went. My self-esteem was very, very low. I was very terrified of life. I was afraid to do anything without asking permission, and I still do a lot of that stuff, asking permission. Pardon me, I have a slip of water. So I'm still growing out of that, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Life is good. Life is getting better. One step at a time, little by little. So, it's nice to have a space with no talking. Just being here. Yes, a space. A space to just be. Just be. And so after Christmas, what's the next is New Year. And some people consider winter solstice as the Earth's New Year, December 21st, as the Earth's New Year, because the light starts to grow after December 21st. So right now we're getting shorter and shorter and shorter days of daylight. And after December 21st, it starts growing longer and longer and longer, little at a time, minutes at a time. But eventually by June 21st, we'll have, I forget how much daylight, 12, no. Well, we'll have more daylight, the most daylight, the longest day of the year, June 21st, the shortest day of the year, December 21st. So lots of people think of December 21st. In fact, the indigenous cultures actually looked at that day as the beginning of the year for the earth. Those people who really lived on the earth and still live on the earth and cherish the earth cycles, which are the moon. Well, the moon cycles kind of control the earth too, of the months and the seasons. But it's the lengthening and shortening of the days that actually give us the seasons, give us the growing period in the summer, give us the cold winters of the winter when the days are short and the nights are long and it gets cold at night. So, and right now it's getting cold at night. Although it's been a wintry mix pretty much the whole week here in New Hampshire, going between rain and snow and rain and snow. And it's nice coming here to Manchester from New London, because New London we have snow on the ground and we have plowed snow, and it might stay there the whole year if the whole season. That's usually what happens. A little snow at a time builds up, and then it stays all winter until March or April, when it starts to get longer days and warmer days. But coming here to Manchester is nice because there's no snow, not much snow, just some old snowbanks from past week plowing. But it's the streets are wet but not icy. When I came down from New London is treacherous driving with ice on the roads and stuff. So it's amazing how just coming down 60 miles can change the weather patterns so drastically. Well, I guess there's also mountains. It's a higher elevation up there, so that's why why that is. So I thought I would also read for you today one of Barbara Brennan's channelings. I went to the Barbara Brennan School of Healing back in 1996 to 2000 for 4 years. It was a 4-year program, and every class week she would channel Heowen, her spirit guide, and basically it was Heowen's channelings that the school was running by. We would follow his or her or their expressions of things. But this is from her books, Seeds of the Spirit. The cultured art of kindness. And kindness goes right along with Christmas for me, and giving, and the season of Thanksgiving, and the season of Christmas, and the season of the New Year. Cultured art of kindness. I just wanted to read that really quickly for us. Kindness is expressed differently in different echelons of a particular culture. You can start with the one that you're in, which is right here in New Hampshire. How can you express kindness and honor the other individual in a way that is appropriate and in your culture? Once you have learned that, how can you go to the next step and fill that kindness and appropriateness with the signature of your love that flows through you, that brings forth the essence of your love, letting it flow to the other individual without breaking appropriate boundaries for that individual? That is art. That is art. That kind of brings us back to walking down the street and smiling at a stranger at Christmas time. Is that appropriate? I guess that's something to consider. And I guess you could feel that if the other doesn't smile back, maybe it was not appropriate. But if they did smile back, it was appropriate. So what kind of a kindness might be something that you can give this season, this time of year? Because it is a kind time of year. It is a time to really nurture and grow your kindness and your loving kindness, not only to your family and friends, but even to strangers, even to people you don't know. And can you do that without fear, without trepidation or fear of retaliation or fear of whatever it is you're afraid of? Because we all have our own fears. Loving kindness. So think about that. Think about how and if you want to express loving kindness more often now, between now and Christmas, or now and New Year's, or even moving forward now until the end of your life. Kind of like Thanksgiving. Why do we only give thanks on Thanksgiving? Why don't we have gratitude and give thanks every day? Every day. And so, Christmas, the same thing. Why don't we open our hearts with loving kindness every day, not just at Christmas time? Why don't we give to people every day, not just on Christmas? Why not think about that? I mean, that's a whole new concept. Giving every single day. What could you give? You could give your kindness. You could give your smile. You could give your appreciation. You could give your gratitude. I mean, the list goes on. You could give a lot of things. What would that be like for you? Could you do that? And first of all, could you do that for yourself? What can you give to yourself? Going back to the beginning of the show and Love Thyself, the book that I'm going to be giving out at Christmas time that you can get for $1 per book on Hay House. It's a beautiful book. It's probably a $20 book. And I think it could be that Masaru Emoto, the author of the book, passed away this year, and it could be that's why it's available at this time, to honor him. And he was a very, very loving and caring scientist who studied water and crystals. He studied emotions and how crystals formed when you froze the water that you put those emotions near the water, and he froze the crystals to see the crystals had different formations based on the word or the emotion or the energy that they were getting. So that's a small thing you could give for Christmas. Just go online to hayhouse.com. Or, as I say, find a small thing. Another thing that I like to give people is I buy these little gemstone hearts. I like to go up to a place called Gemstones, I guess it's called, up in Enfield. That's up at the tip of Lake Mascoma in Enfield, New Hampshire. And I like to get the little gemstone hearts and give them away to people. And it may have an energy behind it or a connotation to people when you give them a heart, like love, but it doesn't have to. It's just an appreciation. It's just like, I'm glad to know you, and give them an appreciative little stone, a gemstone, which doesn't cost very much. It might cost less than $1. It might cost, well, the hearts are actually the ones that I give away, a little bit more than that, but you can get gemstones, or you can find little things like that for 50 cents that the gesture of giving is still just as powerful as giving them $50, a $50 gift. And perhaps getting children weaned off of that need to have the brand new whatever it is gadget that everybody else has, wean them off by giving them something that has a different intrinsic value to it, a different caring value than an electronic thing or a material thing, a big material thing that everybody else has. So thinking about Christmas and Christmas shopping and what do you want for Christmas? All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. Oh my gosh, we used to sing that song over and over and over. That was another Arthur Godfrey song. Back when things were simpler than they are right now. Christmas, the reason for the season, the birth of the baby Jesus in Bethlehem and Jerusalem, and the whole Christmas story, the crèche, the away in the manger, the baby Jesus born in a manger, and from humble beginnings to become the King of the Jews, so-called, but not really. So what is that about for you as well? I kind of skipped through other things, and we never talked about the reason for the season, which is the birth of Jesus Christ and the birth of Christianity. And what is that like for you? Is that something that has a meaning for you? Does it not have a meaning for you? I believe the season of giving is really an amazing thing to connect with, regardless of whether you're Christian or not. Why not find a season to give and get into the mode, as I say, of continuing to give and give and give. So, Christmas. A gong to Christmas. Christmas carols. Some people have a tradition of gathering together and actually going out door to door in a neighborhood and singing Christmas carols. I know a friend of mine, Kathy Lowe, whose family still does that, I believe, in Sutton, New Hampshire. They go into the little village of Sutton. Is that North Sutton? North Sutton. Is that North Sutton? Sutton Mills? I don't know, one of the Suttons. It's right where the post office is. South Sutton, I guess that's South Sutton. And they actually go Christmas caroling door to door, singing their Christmas carols in harmony and inviting friends to come with them. And these little mob of Christmas carolers actually float around this little green. There's a green and a lot of houses around the green. And the traditional way of celebrating and giving, so that's what they give to their neighbors, is their Christmas caroling. And why not try that too? That's something, an old-fashioned way of remembering Christmas and continuing the Christmas tradition of giving things to people. So thank you for joining me today. It's been a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Until next time, remember, your heart knows the way.